collateral damage, but I'ma pay homage. I remember listening to music when I was in college. Even when I was young, I was always seeking the knowledge, daydreaming of my wife's thighs, cause I love the fraudage. No cap, I'ma always keep it solid. Niggas asking me for crypto even though I lost my wallet. My clients, schizophrenic and psychotic. That's why my relationship with them is symbiotic. Nas said he remains flyest in the fat canias. I don't know what that means, but I pray to the most highest.
We must pay homage to him.
You know you're breaking my heart.
Yo, the manifesto, peep the manifesto. I'm flying on a plane from the north to archipelago. Your life's reporting gold, even though it's hot and cold. What's going on, everybody? It's your host. How y'all feeling? Hope you're feeling well. Let's talk a little bit more about some post-chain, DeFi stuff going on. Hey, listen, there's no secret that the sentiment has been very, very low. Very, very low. Like, the same way the founder, they say, has 90% control over the chain. I think the sentiment among the community is like 90 to 95%, maybe even more as far as low. Like, it's really disappointing. It's really, really disappointing, right? But why do you think it's disappointing? I believe it's because everyone had expectations. Just, let's be real. Everyone had expectations. And unfortunately, when you have expectations, that's a surefire way to lead to disappointment. So this is where we are. It's just how it is, I guess. But to be honest with you, and to be super real, I think that certain things are just, it's like I said before, it's in the air. Like, there's something happening. There's something that's about to take place. I think that, it's like only a matter of time before the reckoning, right? Before that moment of truth, more truth appears, where we either win, you know what I'm saying? Like, we prosper, we win on the chain, or we like simply don't. And I'm telling you, like, regardless of whatever people say and feel and believe, after the so many years of this guy talking absolute big talk on the internet, grandiose, like he's the best of the best. After all that talk Rich has been doing over the years, if this chain does not produce gains, he loses. He could, like, that's it. Like, you either extend, push the goalposts further down, like, look at the next cycle, start talking about another cycle down, if you care. Like, some people, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's it. And you want to talk 2027, 28, after the next Bitcoin halving and all that, like, that. Talk that talk. That's what it's going to have to be, because at this point, if 2025, the rest of this year doesn't yield anything remotely close to satisfactory, according to the standards that this guy, this big talk that he was talking, you could consider that a fail. Consider that a fail. And unfortunately, it's just reality. And if we do win, we win. That's it, win-win, yo. Like, in a sense, like, yeah, it sucks. It sucks to lose money. It really does. And then, it's like something the internet will never let him live that down if the chain doesn't perform. relatively soon. It because you're talking about the sentiment is so low. It's so low. It's gonna reach a point, like a boiling point. It's low, but the emotions are high. That's what I mean by it's gonna reach a boiling point, right? And it's just unfortunate. Like, folks, basically, take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. I mean that too, man. Take good care of yourself. You know, these things do not warrant you going inward and doing something to harm yourself and things of that nature. There've already been rumors swirling since last month about two people who did the worst thing that they could do with themselves, and they're no longer here, and we don't know why. Or some people surmise it's because of the poor performance of the chain. And I mean, it's terrible, bro. Like take care of yourselves. I mean that seriously. For all things that is good, like, really, this is not worth you losing everything over, much less your life. It's not worth it. He's not worth it. Richard Hart's not worth it. No human being is worth you doing that to yourself at all. Like, perspective is everything here. Come on, man. You know, people, I tell you, man, it's that serious, bro. Like, it's crazy. And I'm watching, like, how, you know, that, I'm watching how, for example, GRC has basically, has gone on a campaign funding the living crap out of RH. Like no one else has. And I mean that. Like, and when I say no one else, I'm talking about, I know I have been, but this guy has been, like, he took it up levels higher, right? And people understand that, you know, GRC doesn't have a great track record either. He doesn't. And to be fair, he doesn't. He doesn't have a great track record. You know, like, he disappeared, sir. Like, you disappeared. Why you disappeared for so long? And all of a sudden you back on the scene. And now it's, now it's like RH works for us now. You should have had that attitude damn near the whole time, in my opinion. Why disappear, right? But it's his right. People could do what they want to do, but, you know, you're launching coins now, you're doing all this kind of stuff, but, you know, in the spirit of having fun, his mission is to not only FUD RH, but he said it on a Twitter space that was like a pseudo debate. He said something to the effect of, you know, the goal is for him to build his channel. Like, he just wants to build his channel in popularity and use this as like a base, a framework, right, to grow his channel. And that's his right. That's his business. I don't know. Not everybody agrees with what he's doing. I agree with a lot of the contradictions he's highlighted, though. That is for sure. Because this is the thing that you can't dismiss and ignore, and people just they simply don't want to address it. They are so brainwashed. They're unwilling to really agree and say, yeah, why does this man contradict himself like it's a fad, like it's a trend, like it's the thing to do? Why has he been so hypocritical? Why has he not denounced scammers, right? Why does he do all these things that show flip-flop hypocrisy? But they will turn and say GRC is a drug addict. Like, you're not addressing what he's talking about, though. You're not addressing what he's talking about. What you'll say is a drug addict. Like, reduce themselves to children, teasing one another, right? Snapping on one another. But they won't address the factual information that GRC has been saying, and even me. But the point is, too, what I'd like to say, not everything that he's been saying I agree with either. Not everything GRC's been saying I agree with. I'm going to give you an example. And this is for anybody who cares, who wants to also grab the helm and create a channel and start to express their thoughts and, ideas, and maybe not even do any of that, but take information and make their own conclusions. One of the things that I think that GRC needs to be careful of, and I gotta be fair when I say this, I have to, I wouldn't be me. One thing I don't agree with what GRC does, and when he says that RH is in Russia. How do you know that? Why is that important? Well, it's clear. GRC is one to say that he's been subpoenaed before. When all the other Hex influencers were subpoenaed, he received a subpoena. Because back then, 2022, he was streaming heavily that whole year. Religiously. So he received a subpoena, right? And he's met people in the community, right? Went on to functions, and you kind of tapped in a way, right? So like, if the government can send you a subpoena, question you one time, what makes you think they can't do it again in a way where, hey, this guy's in Russia? What makes you say that? And it's funny how no one really asks him. He will say this openly. Maybe people question in the chat or something, but I haven't heard anyone really ask him, if anyone asks him. If anybody asks him, then that's different. But I haven't heard anyone ask, well, how do you know he's in Russia? How do you know Richard Hart is hiding in Russia? Because if you can't prove it, why say it? And if you can't prove it, and you want people to listen to you, that you're putting your neck out there on the line, but you can't verify nor validate what you're talking about by way of explaining and saying that he's in Russia, then that allows him to lose credibility. You understand? So if you were really highlighting contradictions, actual verifiable contradictions that Richard Hart has done, and then you say he's in Russia, that diminishes your position, it weakens your stance. Because you could be right on one level, but you're wrong somewhere else, or you can't even prove it. So why do you need people to really believe in you? If you're lying one time, there are 100 lies hiding in the background. One lie, how many other lies are there? That's what it raises question. It weakens your argument. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the whole thing with the team, his stance. GRC, man, you gotta tighten up in that level, man. You talking about Rich is talking to 16-year-old girl about his Red Bull can on YouTube. And I did some loose research. The girl wasn't even 16, according to the timestamp of the video. She was maybe in her late teens, 19. Like, at the time of the video, 20. She wasn't a minor. But you're on the internet talking about this man is a pedophile, talking to a 16-year-old girl inappropriately about his Johnson, about his penis. Like, another blemish in your armor, a chink in your armor, another blemish in your repertoire that you trying to, I guess, build your popularity, to build your channel. In your quest of trying to FUD Richard, make sure it's rock solid. Like if that's what it is, bro. If you're gonna do something, just be about it. Don't be halfway. And that's just if it makes you think, because a lot of things he says, he speaks with like such conviction. If you're not careful, and if you can't discern between truth and imposter, you believe him. And I want to believe in truth, not falsehood, not fallacy, it could come from anybody. I'm saying GRC is because he's the one who's been basically plastering his messages all over Twitter for the past month. It could have been anybody. I know what I've been doing, but I know I didn't say your founder's in any specific location. I told him wherever he's at, he's in a cage, a Faraday cage, a place that's lined up with a Faraday paper, right? To not allow signals to go through to identify his location, wherever that could be. He could be next to you where you live, for all I care. I don't know. I'm not going to say that because, you garner a certain type of attention too. Because it's clear to me that RH is scared doing something. Scared, hiding. Like, he's scared. That's my opinion. I think he's scared. He's running and he's scared. And so why? I don't know. You're not going to tell people on a video that you bulletproof and safe if you were comfortable, if you were living in peace and tranquility. You wouldn't have to identify and denote and exclaim that you're bulletproof and safe if you were living in peace. Understand? So, nah. But what you're not gonna see from me is just like, yo, this guy's a pedo and all this. Like, it's just weird. Like, even the whole thing of just having the allegations of pulling somebody by the hair. Stick to that kind of stuff, right? As far as like, yo, that's crazy, because it's crazy. It really is. You pulling somebody who's 16 by the hair down a flight of stairs. And the allegation is he could continue to like beat the person in the face while they were on their back after being drugged down a flight of stairs by him, by Richard. Like, that's just crazy. It's just it's nasty. It's ugly. Like, if you're gonna, again, this is what we're talking about, man. Like, this is just nasty. And this guy will put a tweet out. Richard's gonna put a tweet out, and guess what he says? I can listen, and to be honest with you, to be real, super real, I couldn't even read the tweet, bro. I'm tired of this man's rhetoric. That's just me. I'm tired of his rhetoric, yo. I couldn't even read the tweet. People were just posting clips of it. And some of it said something like, he's not crying to Vitalik, saying, in his pretty please, that why are people crying in the community? He doesn't cry to Vitalik, asking Vitalik to, pump the bags, and that being manly is cool. Something like that. And then next to that tweet, someone put another tweet that Richard in the past literally wrote that he was begging Vitalik for Vitalik to pump ETH. Pump Ethereum price. Instant contradiction right there to your face that no one can misinterpret. You can misinterpret it if you want, if you're brainwashed. If you want to experience and accept cognitive dissonance, you could misinterpret and act like that's a false equivalence. You could say whatever you want when you've just, drank Richard's Kool-Aid. That's fine. But it's there. It's there. And that's one example out of many contradictions that I think is important to highlight, to show the inconsistency while we're all trying to wait for some bread. Oh man, something to show and prove from the market, trying to receive an opportunity to make money in this market, man. The sentiment is so low, folks. Like, we gotta like hold on though, in a sense where I think things will change. And it's funny, right? People will clown GRC, right? I think he's entertaining. I think he's funny. He makes me laugh. I don't agree with everything he does, but I think he makes me laugh. It's just like how people in the community are telling him, he says that he needs to stop talking. They're calling him, telling him he needs to stop talking because, they're like OGs are telling him he needs to stop talking. It's affecting their bags. You see? People don't care about nothing. They just care about their own bags. They don't care about inconsistency and flip flop and what. That means nothing to these people, man. What are you talking about? You see? And then you have other people say things like, "Oh, he's playing a dangerous game." Him and all the critics are playing a dangerous game. And this message is being shared by people who've also been extremely critical about Richard themselves, who were and also have been diehard believers who've created content and who've also shared on the internet that they will perpetually dump all the hex on everyone who's in the system for many years to come. Would even say as long as forever. And these are the same people that will give a message out there and say, be careful criticizing Richard. Which is it? No, it's you have your own shady, misguided energy that you want to project onto people who are trying to seek or at least spread some truth based on facts and learn something. Really learn something. Really learn what's really taking place here. If you feel like you got scammed, explain why. If you feel like you're not getting scammed, explain why too. But at least with your explanation, lend some credible evidence. Something that people can look to and research and something that's empirical that they could find, they could go look, investigate, and find for themselves and draw their own conclusions from that point. But these people here will try to behave like communists. When they're being told don't speak truth, don't ask questions. Number one, you're affecting my bag, so I'm scared and I'm gonna be mad at you. And you as a critic are creating problems. Meanwhile, all the critic is doing is analyzing the foolishness being presented by the founder. And instead of asking the founder directly, the people are gonna just redirect the energy towards the critic and blame the critic. That's how insane these people are gonna become, right? If nothing materializes from the chain, you're gonna see. Make no mistake about it. You're probably gonna see people start blaming the folks that were creating the FUD. Watch, because people don't want to take responsibility for their actions, right? Because ultimately, we all, those of us who participated, we all decided, okay, I might sacrifice. I might put some bread on this. Sure. No one forced this. Do your own research, not financial advice. Don't put more than you could afford to lose. Sure. But at the same time, too, when a person has 90% power and they could affect some change just from launching one tweet, which we've all seen since Pulse Chain launched, that this man could issue a tweet and send ripple effects throughout the market. This is a dangerous game that he's playing too. It's a dangerous game that Richard is playing. The focus should be directed to him because the nonsense trickles from the top all the way down to the bottom of the pyramid. And people don't want to address that. People want to continue to be fake. They want to be indifferent. They want to lie. They want to hide as cowards and pretend like they're about something. They pretend like they're about some revolution. Well, no, they're about serving their own needs, which I am too. But it's how I do it that's different. I'm not going to do something to create an opportunity for me to rob you like many have on Pulse Chain, extracting value. That's the difference between me and these funny acting bad actors. Okay? That also doesn't go addressed like it should. These OGs and people who act like they're key opinion leaders, what they call KOLs and influencers, they don't denounce scammers, right? It makes you believe that they're on the take, that they're part of it, that they're complicit and duplicitous in the behaviors. They don't denounce bad activity on the chain. They don't denounce the hypocrisy from Richard Hart. But who they will denounce is one another. They'll go inward and attack each other, while the top person continues to say that he's the only one who knows blockchain better than everyone else, and everyone else are stupid and they're idiots. Make it make sense. This is the foolishness people are playing with. This is what it is, because folks have a hard time stepping out of the nonsense to really look at what's in front of them. Take yourself out of the equation for once and try to be as objective as you can be. Just then you could see for yourself what you're facing right now. Because when you're involved and you've been so conditioned and programmed to think one way, it's hard for you to become impartial. Because you're in it. You're in it. You're not accepting truth. You're not accepting facts. You're not accepting reality. You're actually defending irrationality. You're defending what's illogical. You're defending contradictions. You're defending hypocrisy. That's where we're at right now. I don't care if the truth is being shared. Well, I do. I don't care if it's somebody who's had to wrestle with drugs in the background and in their past, or had to been to whatever circumstances, social problems. If they're presenting truth, then that's something that we need to pay attention to. I don't care if someone has it all well out, or all their affairs are the richest of the rich. If they're presenting truth, that's what matters. Because that's what comes in one form. The lies come in many. That's why I said before, like with the young man, you might be presenting that Richard has been contradicting and such and such and such and such, but when you now want to add your own sauce to the equation that you can't back up by saying he's in Russia, and you can't verify that puts a blemish on your reputation. And how are people supposed to believe you in an absolute fashion? No. They're going to question, because if they could question that, they're going to question everything else. Stick to the facts. That's it. And keep it moving. Keep it trucking. And what's factual is, if we're allowed to see another day, if we're allowed to see, our loved ones, to breathe in some fresh air, to go outside, live and experience life, it's another opportunity for us to be great. And not allow this situation with Pulse Chain to really affect your well-being. Going back to that, take care of yourselves, for real, people. I know it hasn't been easy. I know it's been very difficult and challenging. But again, listen, man, this is temporary. It's going to pass. And what you do during this moment is going to dictate how you land on the other side. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Take care.